Hi, welcome to Terrain Vague. This is a television program, and my name is Jared, and I'm a host. And to my right is Jacob. He's my brother, and he's a co-host. He's also a host. The dynamic we're still working out. This is the first episode. So to my left, we have George Monso. He'll be a guest today on the program. Hey, George.
Hello.
How are you today?
Good.
Super.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
He's a photographer, and we'll be talking with you a little later. And then even later after that, we will have Ben Sievers from Common Brights, and we'll talk to him in a little bit. And seated across from me, we have Grace Holder, and that's where Ben will be sitting later. But today I want to start the show like we start every show, with reading viewer email. This being the first episode, we haven't had any emails yet. But if anyone's watching and wants to get on that, you can email us at velcro@velcrofathoms.net. I'm sorry, velcrofathoms.net. So, but I'm going to begin with reading a email that I do have available to me. This one, it reads, the heading is September Opportunity, and it's from a Mr. Sagoon Favor. Dear friend, he begins, Dear friend, I am Sagoon Favor, an attorney by profession from Republic of Togo, senior advocate of Togo, SAT. It might interest you to know that I have a deceased client that bears the same surname with you, who came to Togo in 1988 and was working with Shell development company Lome Togo. In 1996, before his death, I assisted him in making a 15-year fixed deposit worth $9.5 million, which has now matured to USD 21 million payment by the financial institution. So he's got me hooked at this point. The bank has notified me to provide the next of kin or have the account confiscated within the next 60 official working days. I am contacting you for two reasons. Firstly, you both have the same last name, which makes the claim most credible. Secondly, I strongly believe that the financial firm does not deserve to inherit the funds. With your permission, I wish to proceed to establish you as the next of kin beneficiary to my late client. So this is sounding really good, right? Do not be afraid, as I am his representative attorney and stand the capability to provide all the necessary paperwork to back up this claim until the funds are released to you. We will split. I was thinking this might be a hoax, but
I don't think so. It doesn't sound like one.
No, because I don't think he would offer to split it with me.
No, absolutely not. And he knows your name, apparently.
Yes. And says, as it is currently valued at 21 million USD, I intend to split the total US 21 million USD with you equally 50-50 after deducting any expenses. So he obviously has some expenses in mind. He's a legitimate business
He's
person.
thought this through, is what I'm gathering.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's talking about. This is an opportunity I wouldn't pass up if I were you.
And I'm not going to. He says, kindly get back to me with your full name, age, current home or office address.
Okay.
And telephone number, profession. And he gave me a couple different...
Now, can you fax that in? Does he have a fax number? Because then you know it's official, if he has a fax number.
No, but he's in Togo.
Maybe they don't have faxes in Togos.
Yeah, so...
I know you could fax Togo's, the restaurant.
Yeah, fax him your order. You can order online.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pick up.
I don't have an email today. One, because we just started the show, and two, because I have not set up an email account. I'm still working at the library on internet.
Yeah.
And I haven't set up my email account yet. But next time I will.
So yeah, we'll have that for next time.
Okay, next time I will.
For this show, that's our email bag, and for future contact, if you want us to read one of your emails on the air, you could just contact Velcro at velcrofathoms.net. Velcro being my creative name. You'll see that pop up on all our contacts. But let's move on. Unless, do you have an email to read? No.
No, I just told you I don't have an email account yet.
I have a problem with not listening. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's move on.
Something that you might want to work on for next show as well.
Let's move along to our interview with George. Hi, George.
Hi.
And let me awkwardly shake your hand.
Thanks for having me.
I'd also like to shake your hand awkwardly.
Thanks for coming and talking to us on the show. We've known you for a long time, but I also know you're an awesome, incredible photographer.
Yeah. To a certain extent, I suppose, yes.
Okay, you're a modest,
Yeah,
incredibly
definitely.
modest photographer.
Definitely.
Okay, so what do you look for when you're taking a photo?
Something rare, I would say. Something that I necessarily hadn't seen before in a certain way, in a certain light. I don't like to shoot things over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really work on series, or there's really no continuity to my work. It's kind of random in that sense, but more just things that I have been seeking out,
Yeah.
and I finally find them. I don't really plan out shoots. It's more me being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Kind of like by providence,
Yeah.
I would say, are most of my shoots. But if I'm actually looking for something, it would have to be something that I've seen already, somewhere somebody else has shot, and I'd say I can do that better,
Yeah.
or I can do that my way, and then I would travel or actively seek out that location.
So there's a couple different ways to go about
Yeah,
it.
it's either random or it's very meticulously planned.
Yeah.
But it's nowhere in between. I don't really do castings for anything. It's just my own personal work or completely random.
Cool. And we'll have up on your tag your Flickr page so people can check that out.
That's really the best way to see my photos on the internet is through Flickr.
Yeah. So are you the kind of guy who's always has your camera with you?
Oh yeah,
and taking pictures
definitely.
of it?
I mean, I have my camera with me right now.
Prove
actually.
it. Prove it. Let's see.
And this is another point that I'd like to exemplify, is that you don't need any fancy equipment.
Yeah.
I take most of my photos with cameras like this. I mean, I have a nice digital Canon 7D, blah, 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 that I use for work, for concert photography or modeling. But most of my fine art, if that's what you want to call it, photography, is just with point-and-shoot cameras.
And pretty much, yeah. So you
35
can use-
millimeter film. I mean, that's really what's more important is the functionality of it,
Yeah.
not the technology. Because people buy these, megapixel cameras, 20 megapixels, but they print 8x10 photo. You don't need that much for that.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
more pixels available to us
Yeah.
than we need.
I mean, you can take a photo with a cell phone, and as long as it's properly exposed, it'll look good that
Yeah.
big. So people kind of go overkill with the, with the razzle and dazzle.
But maybe they don't have the eye for it that someone
Yeah,
else might.
but they're trying to overcompensate with expensive equipment. But
Yeah.
if you have an eye or you have a passion, all you really need is just something to capture it with.
Yeah. Do you remember the first photo you took where you kind of said to yourself, "Okay, now I'm a photographer," and you caught a passion
Yeah,
and a love?
that would probably be in 2009. I took a photo of a raven eating a squirrel on the side of the road.
I've seen that photo.
Yeah, and it was just the way when I caught the frame. I took multiple frames. When I got them back and I looked at them, there was a particular frame where there was a piece of flesh flying in the air, and you could kind of see all the blood on the ground. And that was when I said, okay, I think I might actually know what I'm doing now.
Yeah, yeah,
But I mean, I started shooting photos when I was 11 years old,
yeah.
and I would steal disposable cameras, from the grocery store or something like that, and I would shoot skateboarding and just friends hanging out, kind of cliche introduction to photography.
I hope the stores you frequented aren't
Well-
watching now. I don't know if
Well,
the
I think statute of limitations is up on that, I would imagine.
Okay,
I'm not too worried about that.
maybe. We'll see. I don't know. Hopefully they don't email me.
Yeah.
But why don't we, before we go too far, why don't we look at some of your photos
Sure.
and see what we're talking about?
Okay.
So if they're ready in the studio, we could just bring up some of your photos and take a look at them. Here's our first one here.
Oh yeah, this was shot in Los Angeles in the Pacific Palisades area,
Cool.
Rustic Canyon, and this is actually an entrance to an old Nazi compound that was constructed in the 1930s by Hollywood fascists. It's kind of an interesting story about Los Angeles and the history of fascism in America. And then the day after Pearl Harbor, they were raided, and they were all arrested for treason. But that's still there.
So
And
it's the same day as D-Day. They raided that the same day?
the day after Pearl Harbor, yeah.
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 Not D-Day.
No,
Sorry. Yeah. And is that original graffiti, or is that something that's been added as
That
kind
was
of part
just
of the
that was
legacy?
there. That was there when I arrived. I don't know how long it's been there.
Oh, fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
And the next. Can we look at the next one?
Okay, so this one is just an example of my modeling photography, and this one was shot in Palo Alto at Greer Park, the skate park. And
So-
I believe this was shot in the summer of 2009.
Okay.
2010, excuse me. And it's just one of my favorite modeling photos, just the pose and the light and everything.
Yeah.
That's just an example of.
So
the types of
sometimes you shoot
photography.
models.
Yeah,
and
sometimes I do fashion photography and modeling photography.
Okay, cool. And the next one?
This one, yeah, this was the Dumbarton train bridge, not the Dumbarton Bridge proper, but the train bridge that used to take the train across the bay. Then it burnt down in 1998.
So,
But this was taken after that. This is no longer functioning. This was taken last summer.
So that's like the debris of what's left?
That's just what's left of the bridge that used to take the trains across the bay.
And, what vantage point were you at?
I was about in the middle of the traffic bridge.
Okay, so how did you get out there? You just stop in a car, or you walk out there?
I was actually riding my bicycle with a friend, and I have a bike pedestrian lane, and I thought it was a good opportunity. And that's with 35 millimeter film, so that's why it's a little grainy, but I like that look to it.
Yeah, for sure. And let's take a look at the next one.
This is a man who hangs out in front of the 7-Eleven on Woodside Road in Ribbon City. He's kind of a character there, and he's always there. And I asked him if I could take his portrait, and then I proceeded to produce $2. I gave him $2 for it. He was really cooperative, and he liked the picture himself. And I don't know too much about him other than he's a really nice guy. He doesn't ask for money, you know, he doesn't panhandle, but he seems to really enjoy hanging out in front of the 7-Eleven. He's kind of I would say he's kind of a character of Redwood City. You know, everybody kind of has seen him at one point or another.
He looks like a nice man.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen him, but let's check out the next one.
This is just kind of a casual snapshot of my friends, but I really like the way that the light hit from the right side. It was kind of sunset kind of feeling, and it just kind of encapsulated the whole day. And I was just really happy with the results, and I think it just kind of a quintessential sunset kind of friendship photo there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I'm noticing in your pictures is what you reference, how you'll shoot on anything. Your aesthetic really moves to between shots, the different from kind of a classic black and white look, all the way up to kind of what we're seeing with the Instagram trends and everything. Like you do everything in between. It seems like.
I try to. Yeah, I'm not really a specialist. I wouldn't say yet. I like to keep my horizons broad. Cool.
Let's keep moving. The shots. I like this one.
That's very nice.
This is a landscape photo from Salton Sea in Southern California.
Yes. Yeah.
In Imperial County. And this is at Bombay Beach around sunset. And I didn't manipulate this photo. It's just that the sunsets there are very unique.
Yeah.
With the various gases.
Huh? Put it down. Oh, okay. What's this one here?
This is San Gregorio in Pacific Coast in California.
Okay.
Nearby, and this is a restroom. But I found that the aesthetics of it, how the black chimneys really stick out against the redwood, and then the fog creeping over, and then the dead grass in the foreground. Yeah. And I just really liked the way that it was composed, and I decided to use that in one of my shows, and I got a lot of good response from that. And once again, that's film, color film, and kind of the point that I would like to try to make is that it doesn't really matter so much digital versus film. If you use the right film, it's actually better than digital usually. Yeah,
and it's interesting because this is actually a place I'm familiar with. I've been to that beach, and I never saw it in quite such a picturesque way. So that says something about the composition. And we have 2 more pictures left. We can see the next one.
This one, I don't think that the viewers at home will be able to see, but the sign that gentleman is holding, it says, "I need hard drugs."
I need hard drugs.
And this is at the Slayer concert
cool.
at Shoreline. And I felt that really summed up the whole day.
Yeah.
And
like if you have the time to think about it, write out a sign and really, work at it.
Yeah.
You got
I hope that he accomplished
ambition.
his goal there.
Something tells me he acquired those hard drugs.
Yeah. Well, we can only.
When you put your mind to something like that.
Yeah.
But I'd like to actually talk about the last photo the most.
Okay. Well, let's get to the last one then.
Yeah. Okay. So this one is a very interesting story. I was on Pier 7 in San Francisco, and this gentleman, the foil bag around his chin was expanding and contracting as if he was huffing some chemicals of some nature. And his face is completely black with plastic also. And so I went to frame up the shot, and then he looked over at me. And I wasn't sure if he could see me or not.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he has this thing over his face, you know, but he definitely knew that I was there. And then all of a sudden he rushes at me, and if you look, he has a knife in his hand, in his
oh my God.
right hand, and he jumped at me, and he asked me what I was taking. He said, "What you taking my picture for?"
Yeah.
You know, and then I kind of backed up, and that's when I shot it. So that's why it's a little off center. And then
you
you can
were
see him in mid-stride. Well, he's in mid-stride, and I'm pulling back to get away from him. And I didn't notice that he had the knife until I looked at the photo under a loop.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the danger.
Yeah,
when you
I
go
mean,
out
that's not the, yeah, I've encountered a lot of hostile subjects, but my philosophy is that if someone's in public, you know, property, it's fair game. I don't invade people's privacy unless it's legal.
Yeah.
You know, and I just feel like in San Francisco, the opportunities are always there to, you know, do that, and people just have to accept it, that if they go into public looking interesting or unusual, that they might have their picture taken.
Yeah.
And they have the total right to fight back. I have no problem with that. You know,
like he has a right to
like I have the right to take
you.
Yeah, he has the right to try to stab me because I have the right to try to take, and that's his reaction. That's fine. I respect that.
Yeah.
Luckily, he didn't stab me.
He didn't stab you, but you did get the shot.
Yeah.
That's good.
And how long did you have to follow him before you?
Oh no, he was just there. I kind of came and he was just already there.
So it's just a one-shot deal.
Yeah. And I definitely would have regretted not taking that photo.
I don't even see how he noticed you there with the bags over his face and stuff.
I don't know. I guess he just sensed me.
Wow. So what would you like to add about your photography?
Just that I would like to state that what I try to exemplify in my work is true American photography, like in the vein of William Eggleston or Robert Adams or any of the other people from the post-war photography. Because that was a big revolution in photography. It was after World War II, because we had color film was widely available, and there was this natural urge to take pilgrimages across the country and shoot the real America, the rural America, and the developing suburban communities were a strong subject. And I just think that that's lost today. I think now people use Photoshop too much, and they try to take a really boring subject and make it very interesting by using, you know, high dynamic range and all these kinds of things. What I think people need to focus on is composition and subject matter, and you can take a very poignant, you know, thing and present it to people in a way that's honest. Yeah. It's not manipulated, and it's not subjected to all kinds of enhancements to make it more appealing visually, but there's no story there. Yeah. And that's the problem I have with photography now. So what I would like to say in summation, I suppose, is just that photography is an art, but it's an art that anyone can do. Like, I'm never going to be a great oil painter or a great sculptor. I just happen to have a camera, and I have the passion to take the right kinds of photos, but not say I'm an artist. I don't like that term when it comes to photography unless it's purely conceptual. But when it comes to street photography or any kind of like lifestyle photography, that's kind of secondary. What I really enjoy is being there. And I'd like to remember it, and if it comes out aesthetically pleasing, then that's fine. Cool.
Well, the rest of us might call you an artist.
That's fine. I just don't call myself one.
When the people at home check out your Flickr, for sure. And we're going to move on. Do you have any questions for George here?
I wanted to point out that I think that message is very powerful, as far as what he's saying about how anyone can do it. You don't need high quality equipment, because I know there's certain types of art, and photography has always been seen as one that seems very class restricting, where if you don't have a lot of money, if you come from a poor background, it could be something that you don't even explore as an option. So I think examples of photography, like George has been doing, can be very powerful to maybe a young person coming from a background where they don't think they have access to that type of expression.
Definitely.
Yeah. Cool. Well, stick with us for the rest of the show, George, of course, and we'll be moving on, though. We have a roll-in right now from Jacob, if you guys can get that ready. And what this is, tell us a little bit about this. It's called I'll Sleep When I'm Done. Yeah,
so this project was called I'll Sleep When I'm Done. It was conceived at a point when I was going through bouts of insomnia, and I couldn't sleep. And so this one is I try to challenge myself to different activities while not sleeping or being sleep deprived for over 24 hours.
After you've been up for 24 hours, then you do something challenging.
Exactly.
Cool.
So this one is, I'll rush it now, sorry. So this one is as I wrote a children's book after not sleeping for 24 hours.
Awesome. I want to see this.
Let's watch it. Hello there. Today's challenge
We can't
is
hear
I
it
will
as
sleep when I'm done writing a children's book. It's 10 o'clock in the morning now, or almost 10 o'clock, which means it's been about 25 hours since since I was last asleep. Hopefully it won't be another 25 hours until I'm asleep again.
That was cool, right?
Yeah, that was great.
I immediately have nothing. Yeah, I've
The
got
show's
nothing.
kind of packed, so I hope you guys feel that.
So this is already starting out frustrating. Since I had such trouble coming up with an idea at first, I'm glad it didn't take too long to get everything on paper. It's derivative of a lot of other children's stories, but I think it's true enough of an experience that I think most children go through. I know I went through it myself. It has to do with anger. That sort of anger you have as a kid, where you don't understand authority figures. You don't understand why you can't just get whatever you want. And I can feel the coffee jitters mixed with the overall tiredness kicking in. Starting to get a little shaky, so I might have to eat something soon. Even though I don't feel hungry. Which is an odd thing. When I'm tired, I usually don't feel hungry. So I'm going to force myself to eat something so I don't have the shakes. Can't tell if my camera's blurry or if it's my vision. Pretty sure it's the camera now. I don't think that's me. But starting to lose interest in drawing. And then the pictures right now, so I might have to just start that sooner rather than later. Having a bit harder time concentrating right now. Getting bouts of feeling like I'm gonna fall asleep. So I try to get up and move around. I was watching TV earlier, and sound was a bit odd. Kind of delayed. Like, people were talking, but it was slightly delayed, and background noises seemed louder than they should have been. Outside noises seem louder than they should be, too. Pretty over it now. Not that I'm so tired. I just want to go to sleep more. I don't know if I'm sure I could fall asleep. If I laid down, I probably would pass out. But I know I can make it through as far as being awake. I think I'm struggling more with the fact I just don't want to do it anymore. I just don't want to. Just don't want to. Just tired. Finished all the drawings. We'll see how it turns out though. Because it could just be complete crap. And that's fine. And I was trying to figure out the math on how many hours I've been up now, and I couldn't do it. I just gave up on that. Haven't been up 36 hours yet. Almost. In 20 minutes it'll be 9 o'clock. That'll be 36 hours. I'm not going to be done by then. I won't be asleep by then. But, yeah, the book only took 8.5 hours. No, 9 hours. 9.5. I have no idea if it's any good or complete garbage.
That was an excellent roll-in video, Jake.
Thank you.
You got excellent coverage on your chin.
Yep.
And I like the lethargy.
Mm-hmm.
I will just say, what you cut out of that is the actual footage of the production of the children's book.
Right. I felt that was a little boring and tedious. But if you would like to watch that part of it, there's an extended video up on the YouTube page. And also a link to where you could actually see the book.
Yeah, it's on, so Velcro Fathoms on YouTube. Just search Velcro Fathoms. Okay, but we're moving on. And our next guest we have is Ben Sievers, seated across from me. Awkward handshake across the table. Excellent.
Awkward handshake.
Welcome, Ben.
It's good to see you.
So Ben Sievers, you are the Healthful Foods Program Director and Secretary of the Board, for Common Brights, which is found at commonbrights.org, right?
That is correct.
So I could state your mission and probably butcher it, but why don't you tell us about the mission of Common Brights?
Well, we're a 501c3 community benefit corporation, and well, it's very exciting. We're working in San Mateo. We are 3 brothers that all grew up in San Mateo, and we're currently fundraising to create a cultural facility in downtown San Mateo. A place for the arts and music. There would be a permanent art gallery featuring local artists, as well as a music performance space for local bands, and then a herbal tea bar as well.
Awesome. And you've done events, and you're having events, and when you get home, you'll have even more events. And
yeah.
So what do we have in front of you? Can we just mention these?
These are, it's made out of salvaged redwood. And the executive director, my brother James, is actually the one who made these, and it's redwood, and they are retail items that we do sell, yeah, they're lovely animals. We were
awesome.
We were tabling at the San Mateo Farmers Market today, and all the kids come up and they just, they want to look at it and know how it was made.
Yeah.
And so these are just one of the types of art that you could possibly see.
Yeah, and I've been following you guys, your Facebook group, and you're doing a lot of great things in the community of San Mateo. And so reaching out to youth is a huge part of your mission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all of the events that we would be throwing are all ages, and we're also planning on, once we lease a space in downtown, we'll be able to focus more on our outreach and workshop programs, where we'll be engaging with the community and helping to create spaces where they can come in and make art, learn more about art, as well as music and other things.
Well, what do you think it does? I mean, it's almost obvious, but it's something that we miss a lot in the world around us, how important the arts and music are to culture. It's like, in your experiences, do you have any really cool experiences engaging with?
Well, what we're finding is that San Mateo and the peninsula in general is host to a lot of really creative and talented people, and there's not necessarily a lot of places where those people can kind of showcase their talent. So, I mean, there was a cafe that had the same art up for a really long time, and I went there and was like, oh, can I show some art here? And they were like, yeah, sure. And we did a show there, and then after that, they had, once people realized that they could show art there, they started having shows every month. So it's like, it's something where it's like they just need a place to show the art. So if we had a permanent place, and it's also something where downtown San Mateo has a lot of great restaurants and bars and things like that. But as far as a place where you can see some type of meaningful cultural experience, there's not a lot of places like that. There's no real music venues other than bars, and we need places where kids can go and experience live music and see good art.
And get their hands on it, learn skills, have some mentorship, and all these cool things. But so you're kind of a specialist also in healthful foods. So
yeah, that's going to be that's the third branch. It's music, art, and healthful foods.
How does that tie in?
Well, it's about our mission is a lot about community health, and that's a very concrete a way to have community health
Yeah.
and focus on nutrition and the nutritional benefits of herbal teas. That's kind of my interest in it. So we'll have a tea bar at the location once we get our cultural facility.
Awesome. And you have events coming up?
Yeah, we're having a fundraiser this Wednesday at the San Mateo Public Library, and that'll be from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the main library.
What can people see at that event?
It's going to be the closing reception for our September art show, and it's been really exciting so far working with artists in the Bay Area. All the art that we've had is really high caliber work, and it's really exciting to see the spectrum of work.
Yeah, yeah. So, like when you say, like, give me some examples of, like, we see these pieces here, but you have painting?
Yeah, mostly paintings and drawings and some prints. And after watching the interview with George, I'm thinking maybe we need to get some more photographs in there and add that to it. But it's been a really interesting mix of oil paint, acrylic paint, mixed media. Awesome.
And so I hope we got your tag up there. It's commonbrights.
Commonbrights.org, yes.
What, do you have something you want to ask Ben, Jake, George?
Yeah, could you name some of the local artists, maybe off the top of
Sure.
your head?
Let's see, Eric Livingston has a piece. He's from San Mateo. He lives in Half Moon Bay now. A friend named George, Corco Gorky, I think is his last name, and he had this really brilliant acrylic painting of the Legion of Honor in SF. Very talented person. And Megan Lees, I believe she's from the Peninsula. She had a mixed media piece. So, just a few.
What would you like to share with viewers?
Just that it's important to express yourself, and it's important to have a place in your community where you can show that expression and be able to relate to other people and check in and stir things up. So
yeah, I would agree with you. I think everyone is an artist, and just kind of life discourages them sometimes, and we need things like Common Brights to say to people, come here and do what you do. And yeah, I don't know.
that sounds good.
Cool. Well, we're gonna move on unless you have anything else to add.
That's great. Thank you.
And will you come back later? We're gonna play a game show later.
I'd love to join you for that.
But for now, can you just
Yeah.
exit? And, but we really
Just get out of here, please.
and we have placeholder,
Leave these,
a
though.
grace holder. But yeah, leave your. Thank you, Ben. Again, Ben. That was Ben Sievers of Common Brights, and you can visit them at commonbrights.org, and they have an event this Wednesday at the
Grace.
San Mateo Library. Grace Holder
Good to have you back.
is back for now, but that was really cool.
That was very cool.
We want to move on to a segment called Gift Basket. Or we'll do tags. I see my tags coming up. Why don't we just do that? Unless you close out the sequence. You can, if you want to get a hold of us, go to velcrofathoms.net. It's not updated frequently.
Those hurt my eyes.
Let me tell you when it is. Okay, you can contact me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter, VelcroFathoms. And my email is velcro at velcrofathoms.net. And you can find me on Instagram as VelcroFathoms. This is kind of a creative name, alias.
Wow.
On Dump FM at velcrofathoms.wordpress.com if you want to find me.
3D glasses to read
And
this?
yeah, so
Okay.
those are my. And we also have some tags for Jake. We can get
cool.
those later if you
Great.
want. Maybe after the gift basket segment. We have a segment I want to showcase called Gift Basket, and what this is it's about the kind of the art of making animated GIFs, and we have a few to show you today. And if you want to submit any, this is Gift Basket segment.
All right.
There you go. And if you want to submit, just email me if you're an animated GIF artist. Some people say GIF, that's okay, and we will showcase your GIF on the show. But these are just a couple I made. So let's see the first one. The first one. All right, this one I made recently. It's just pictures. I used a sequence of pictures, and one picture I messed it up with this phone program called Decimate. That's kind of fun. And then I just sequenced them all together, and that's that one. I like it. I like trippy stuff. Kind of what you were saying, George, about people who Photoshop out. That's kind of guilty as charged. That's kind
Well,
of
that's a completely different medium, though. I mean, this isn't.
yeah.
You know what I'm. Yeah.
Yeah. This one I took about 2 years ago. It's a it was a tree in Tahoe, and there's a bird in there that's hard to see hopping from branch to branch. It's about 4 pictures.
Before we move on to the next one,
Yeah.
as someone who does not have regular access to the internet and
Yeah.
is not familiar with these type of animations that
Yeah.
much, I would like to know what kind of appeal is someone supposed to get at this? Because to me, sometimes they hurt my head.
Yeah.
Like there's funny ones
Yeah.
where like a penguin falls into the
Yeah.
ice.
I like those too.
So what are you trying to like? What do you try to achieve from this medium?
You're putting me on the hot seat. I don't know. It's mostly a 90% aesthetic to me,
Okay.
and I like the glitchiness of it. But I don't. I don't know.
I'm not trying to bust you out or anything. I'm just trying
You're
to ask.
busting me out. That's fine though. No. Let's look at the next. This one.
This one I do like.
This one Jake likes is because these are pictures he took,
Yeah.
and they weren't taken with the idea of making a GIF in mind, but we are storytelling with it. And why don't you tell us what this is, Jake?
So this was I was driving home and I saw a family of young raccoons running from one gutter to the other, and I was like, they look hungry. I'm going to feed
Yeah.
them some bread. And so I fed them some bread, and I was very surprised
You
that
fed them bread.
I fed them bread, and I was very surprised that they would actually hand feed or take bread from my hand. Now, afterwards, everyone who saw these told me the dangers of rabies and
You should have known that.
contracting diseases
Yeah.
if they were to bite or scratch me. But at the time, you know, I'm just trying to
You were
be helpful.
You were just sucked into the majesty of these creatures with glowing eyes and
Right.
evil talons in front of you.
I think they're beautiful,
Well,
majestic creatures.
I'm glad you didn't get rabies. Let's move along.
Well, they do take. It takes 30. I found out it takes 30 days to find out, so
Yeah.
I don't know for sure. But
Yeah.
next week I should know.
Okay, if we have Jake's tags ready, let's tag him. Otherwise, because you can access him too. Or if you have a GIF you want to submit to
That's not me. by the way.
to the Terrain Vague show, you can send them to me at velcro@velcrofountains.net with
There
a
we
little
go.
description. We'll show them. And this is Jake. You can contact him on Instagram, and he's also
And
on
Twitter.
Twitter. And he puts goofs up on those
When I have access to internet
at the library.
at the library.
And- okay, so yeah.
All right.
And we'll have next month. We'll have an email up for you.
Great. When I have one.
All right. So I don't know. What do you think about GIFs, George?
Well, I like it as an aesthetic medium,
Yeah.
but to say that I was calling you out on.
I was just giving you a hard time, but I was just saying
because
like,
it is
that's kinda,
it's a different medium.
Yeah,
You know, I mean,
I-
you can frame. You ever frame your GIFs?
frame them sometimes.
Yeah,
Not
that-
frequently.
But you wouldn't call it photography.
No. Yeah.
I don't know what would mixed digital media.
You could frame them on some of those frames from like department stores.
Right, and just put the card in and it
yeah,
loops
SD
around.
card.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's move along. We have another segment. Subjected.
All right.
Okay, so once we have the roll-in for subjected going, then we'll get into it. Yeah. We're gonna do this perfectly, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so subjected. What this segment is about is, spoiler alert, me and Jake are brothers. And oftentimes I love something and I'm like, Jake, you have to watch this. And he's like, no, it's not for me. And vice versa. So we said, what better way to make him watch something than to create a segment about it? So I said, Jake, we're doing this segment on the show. I watch something you hate. And or I watch something I hate and you want me to watch. And you watch something, you get the idea. So he told me I have to watch The Wire. So I popped in The Wire.
Season 1.
See, popped in season 1. I watched most of the season, and now
Now I'm disappointed you didn't watch all the season.
if I had more time on my hands,
Okay.
I would watch the whole.
Well, let me introduce it very quickly.
No. I can do this.
Okay.
I can do this. So I like The Wire. I didn't love it, and I understand what they're going for. It's kind of a socio-political landscape. It very much shows you the system, how it works. My problem with it is I kind of like things that show you how the world should be rather than how it is. And there's likable characters on the show, but it makes me, there's nobody that I think is a good person. Like,
See, what I think the show... sorry to interrupt.
No, let me say my opinion.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So, so I see it as we have this prison industrial complex in this country. The drug wars, I think, right after we had the civil rights movement, then the drug wars come in, and the gains minorities made with the civil rights movement, we create these arcane drug laws and throw people in prison. And The Wire was just kind of glamorizing, not glamorizing, but showing you how both sides of that work, both the criminal element and the law enforcement element. Both sides are completely immoral people. They're, you know, and so the show just made me sad.
Okay, no, fair enough.
What do you have to say about that?
Now, my take on it is that you're right. It shows a truer version, I think, of the drug. Especially, it takes place in Baltimore, Maryland, and it shows, I think, the truest depiction on TV that I've ever seen of real life. On the streets. From all the different angles, and where you say you like to watch things of how they should be. Well, to me, that's most of pop culture is people presenting how they think that the world should be, or how they would like to see it. This is the truest. And you said there's no moral characters. Well, no one is 100% moral in the world.
Fine.
And what it does is, I think it shows a complete version of characters. It gives you a whole sense of a character. No character is good. No character is bad, though.
Point taken. You're right. You're right. I think
if you watched, and then each season deals with a different aspect of the society. So if you watch the whole thing as a complete thing, you get a whole view of society.
Okay, cool. So I'll say point taken. I liked the show, didn't love it. It's watchable. So tell me, I made you watch Doctor Who.
Okay, I think that The Wire, personally, I think that The Wire is the greatest drama.
Fine. We're over The Wire.
Okay.
I made you watch Doctor Who.
Now, Doctor Who is a sci-fi show made in the country of England.
Yes, people know what it is.
Well, it's
You're
kind of a
one who didn't know what it was.
I was the only one apparently in this world that never watched Doctor Who.
And let's clarify, I made you watch some of the newer ones, because that's really where I jumped.
Well, I did watch the first of the newer, not the old 71s, but when the series first started, I watched the first pilot episodes, and then I watched some other ones that are supposed to be really good. And they weren't bad. It's good sci-fi. The problem with it is the same problem I have with all sci-fi shows. Star Trek in particular is that it comes off as cheesy when it tries to be purely dramatic.
Okay.
I think sci-fi works best as a subgenre of another genre. If you're doing science fiction comedy, science fiction action, it works really well. But when you try to purely do science fiction as a one piece, it comes off as very it becomes very dated within a few years. Like, I was watching episodes from 2 or 3 years ago, and they already seem dated to me. But what I will say, one episode I really liked was The Lost Child. I think it's a 2-parter, and I think it was written by Neil Gaiman, who I'm a big fan of. But that one was like it was more of like a mystery, and I think that's where Doctor Who is kind of good, where it will mix in humor, mystery. It mixes in a lot of more stuff. The problem with it I have, though, is that there's no cohesive it has an overarching story, I guess, but since he can jump in and out of time, it's like it's all like one episode's all over the map and all across space. It's like
one episode Hitler's in there.
Right. Part of what I liked about it is what I don't like, I couldn't be a fan of, is that it doesn't have one tone. It'll switch to comedy or to mystery or to horror to kind of fit that episode's purpose. And so the character in the world doesn't seem to be a cohesive unit.
So let's summarize it. It seems like neither of us got what we wanted. I don't love The Wire, you don't love Doctor Who. But
I think we both wasted each other's time.
We accomplished forcing each other to do something we didn't want to do.
But I will say, I think everyone should check out The Wire.
And I think everyone should check out Doctor Who.
If you like Star Trek, if you're a fan of Star Trek, check out Doctor Who.
Wire's nothing like Star Trek.
No, I meant Doctor Who.
Okay, but we're running really far behind. We were going to talk about Libya, and I really wanted to. But I honestly don't think we're going to have time, but it's crazy. Let me just say, it's crazy what's happening.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So the Muhammad film, real quick.
The
I'll just
Innocence of Muhammad?
Whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the only thing, I think the most important thing that I could think of in the short amount of time that this has happened is Martin Scorsese's Last Temptation of Christ.
Yes.
That was a good film, and they portrayed Christ in an unfavorable way to a lot of Christians, and they didn't overreact as harshly.
Yeah.
Or they didn't react the same way.
Well.
But maybe if the film or a film was made where Muhammad was depicted, but in a more truer sense of cinema, film, not some propaganda B-movie kind of thing.
Well, that's the problem too, is because it's like an iconic. You're not supposed to show Muhammad.
Well, from what I heard, what the reaction that they got was the reaction that was desired. That they intentionally wanted to incite violence. And
that filmmaker totally did.
That's the problem that I have. It wasn't a good film. It was just purely to incite violence.
Yeah, but I also got to say that they're putting that narrative out there. But now the reports are coming in that the embassy attack in Libya had nothing.
See, that's what
it
you
was
can't believe everything.
Planned
the first,
months ahead of time, and it had over 100 people participating.
I'm not necessarily blaming it. I'm just saying that the point of the film was, it was.
Yeah, I think people are just like dicks for no reason. I'm sorry, but I mean, yeah, it's an iconic religion, and I understand. I think, but they have to be more tolerant of with that. When you're outside of the religion, people are going to be asses and try to instigate violence from you.
It just wasn't a good film.
And now you have the French cartoonist and stuff. Yeah, but you watch the video and it's hilarious how bad the green screen is, and they're doing these things intent. You should watch. I won't show it here because I don't want to fatwa put against me, but everyone should watch The Innocence of Muslims just to see like an example of someone trying to stir up trouble, instigating. But we don't have time to really dig into it, but I do want to show a quick video on the topic of WikiLeaks. If we have that ready on TBC2, I want to show that real quick. I just wanted to show this just to show you guys a video of Julian Assange dancing. Because whatever you think of the man, he's a fantastic dancer.
He's got some moves.
We were going to talk about WikiLeaks, but instead of doing that, I just wanted... I mean, look at him dance. It's incredible. If you admire him or hate him, that's Julian Assange dancing. That's great.
There he is dancing.
Okay, so get ready for the game show. Right. Okay, so we're going to show a quick video called Slippers. It's a goof video. And then we are doing a game show, the quiz show. So if Slippers is ready, we'll play that.
What if planet Earth was
And Ben, you want to come back to the game show?
Earth swirling in dimensional space, like layers of an onion. Layers upon layers. I'm a really smart teenager, and I invented a way to cross through dimensions in comfort. Slippers. Well, now that I've invented these dimension-crossing slippers, time to test them out. Oh, ow, ow! I haven't got the comfort sorted out yet. These glass diodes hurt. A swirling dimensional vortex has opened. It worked! I'm in a parallel dimension. I'm glad it worked, because I also made slippers in this dimension, and I was just about to test them. Wow, everything is just about the same in this dimension. Well, not quite. Slippers!
Okay, so that video was a goof, Sliders, a very popular show. It was a spoof on that. But we're going to get into a game show right now. It is called the Did You Know Show, and I realize I'm not giving you enough time to roll into the roll-in for that, but that's okay.
That's all right.
But this is the Did You Know Show.
All right. Welcome to the Did You Know Show. My name is Jake. I will be your host for this show. All contestants have a buzzer. Can you let me know how you sound, please? Fantastic. So I'll be asking you questions. These questions are almost unanswerable, though, just so you know. So I will be awarding points, rather, not on being correct, but being interesting or funny. Are you guys ready?
Sure.
All right, first question. All these questions have to do with the topic of beginnings. Keep that in mind. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Anybody? Chicken or the egg? It's there you go.
A Grand Slam breakfast.
That's not even funny. You have two options, chicken or egg. Yes, Ben.
What is moons over my hammy?
No. Let's try to take this somewhat seriously.
I'll say the chicken that laid the egg that was the chicken.
That's not a bad guess, but you are completely wrong.
That's expected.
Yes.
The egg.
The egg is correct. I will only give you 1 point since obviously it was the only one left.
Okay.
The egg was predates any animal, in fact, and is 700 to 1,000 million years old, estimated. And the chicken's only been around for about 40 million years.
I thought you were going to have a goof answer.
And it's only been domesticated for about 10,000 years.
All right.
Oh, now, which of these does not belong? Fire, language.
Fire.
You didn't let me finish, or the wheel. And fire is wrong, so I'm taking away points.
Fire, language, or the wheel?
Fire, language, or the wheel. Don't be afraid to answer. Yes.
Fire.
Fire is wrong because didn't he just say that? And I said it was wrong.
I thought I just had to wait till you finished.
No, it's still wrong. George, would you like to take a guess?
Repeat the question.
Which came first? Or which of these does not belong? Fire, language, or the wheel?
The wheel.
Thank you. The wheel is correct. You don't need to blow. He already got it correct. Why? You can get extra points if you can tell me why.
Shit ain't natural.
All right. It's actually the wheel because it's the only one of the three that was only discovered one time. All the others were discovered multiple times by different societies. The Sumerians discovered the wheel in 4,000, between 4,000 and 3,000.
Science don't know.
And I think the Americas had it discovered it independently. They just didn't.
All right, we're moving on.
Science
Who invented the automobile? Who invented the automobile?
Oh God, what's his name?
Yes.
Benz.
Very nice. A lot of people might think Henry Ford. Henry Ford did not invent the automobile. George will get a lot of points for that. Now.
And they took Mercedes-Benz.
It's Carl Benz of Mercedes-Benz. You are correct. You get no points for that, however. What was the original Barbie doll modeled after? Yes.
The female form.
Be more specific, please.
Eleanor Roosevelt.
Not Eleanor Roosevelt. You get points for that one, though.
Oh, cool.
Because that's a funny answer. Anybody else? Yes.
Eve.
Eve? I think that's just as general of an answer as the
That's
female
the Garden
form.
of Eden.
As Eleanor Roosevelt. It actually was modeled after a German sex doll that was named Lily. And if Barbie were life-sized and anatomically correct, what is it that she could not do? Yes.
Cook.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Walk a mile.
She
In
might.
your shoes.
Well, in my shoes, they probably
Bear
wouldn't fit.
child.
Bear child. We're gonna go with bear child because she could not menstruate. Menstruate.
Okay.
All right.
So that's a sexist doll. And
It's a very sexist doll.
here at Terrain Vague, we officially disapprove of Barbie.
All right. Where did the military salute come from? Where did that originate? Military salute. Yes. Ben.
Aliens.
Aliens? Nope. Here at the Did You Know show, part of the portion, we do not believe in aliens. Yes.
Rome.
Rome? No.
Roman Empire.
Roman Empire? No. I don't believe so.
You're gonna win.
He might. You guys better get
The salute?
going. The salute.
The army salute?
Yes. Okay, it's taking too long. I'll just tell you.
Just move on.
It comes from knights.
Knights.
They'd have to raise their armored helmet up to look at the king so the king could recognize who it was.
All right, cool.
All right. Do we have time for any more?
Well, yeah, we'll probably have time for one more. Can we do a round of emails to close out the show before we do the last question?
Sure.
Okay, because I just want to remind viewers that you have been watching Terrain Vague. And so you can email us at velcro@velcrofathoms.net. You can visit us at velcrofathoms.net. And you can find me on Twitter and Jacob on Twitter. And we've had George Monso. And you're on Flickr?
Flickr, yes.
Photographer extraordinaire.
Also
Flickr.
on Instagram at Deathbed, which is spelled DETHBED.
And I follow you on Instagram, and I'm glad I do. Because
Thank
you
you.
always have something cool up there.
I highly recommend that as well.
Yeah. And we've had Ben Sievers with us of commonbrights.org, of Common Brights, which you could find at commonbrights.org. And they have an awesome mission, bringing arts, culture, music to San Mateo, and just enlivening the community. And we have Jacob and myself, Jared. And Another question?
Last question?
Yeah.
All right. How do plants create oxygen?
Oh, I do know this. It's the
Yes.
Well, it's the carbon cycle. What they do is they take in the carbon, and then there's the, what's it called, eutrophication? Is that it?
Continue.
No. It's the plants eat that carbon. They eat the carbon, then the waste turns into body mass for them, and it also goes out and creates oxygen for us.
Okay. So do they turn carbon dioxide into oxygen?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. Well, partly.
No. But I'm going to give you points because you are correct, but they do not directly turn carbon dioxide into oxygen, which is what a lot of people think. It is a byproduct of their photosynthesis.
But yeah, it's a byproduct.
It's a byproduct, not a direct product. Anyway, so here are the scores. In last place with a minus 12 points, Jared. In second place with 512 points, Ben. And our winner, big round of applause for George with 762 points. Way to go, George. You win absolutely nothing.
Wait, you were supposed to get prizes for this segment. We're going to kill this segment if you don't get us prizes.
Surprise, surprise, you get nothing.
All right, come back and join us there. We have 30 seconds left, something like that. Cool, so we're closing out the show with 30 seconds. Do you guys want to try, do you guys know the Taliban cry? Should we try out with these? No, I'd like to thank everyone again for watching, like...
No.
Can't do it. Okay, I'd like to thank everyone again for watching Terrain Vague. Once again, you can find us online. Check out commonbrights.org for all the information on Common Brights. They have an upcoming event this Wednesday, the 26th of September. George Monso, thank you. So now we do fake talk while the fake banter.